Hi, welcome to this morning yoga class. So we'll be starting in a lying down position, so just make your way onto the floor. You won't need any props for this class, and we will really just run through a few sequences, really start to get the body moving, wake up the muscles. It's a really great way to start the day. We'll start with our feet out about mat distance apart and just let the knees fall in. And you might like to take your left hand to your chest, your right hand to your belly, and we'll just take a few breaths here, just bringing our attention to the breath, feeling how the air enters the body as we inhale in, and noticing the breath leaving the body as we exhale out. You might notice the movement of your hands moving with the breath. You might notice the sound of the breath. And then when you're ready, just bring the arms down by the side and bring the feet so they're in line with the hips, and then just take the left leg and we'll bring it up straight, just pushing through the heel of the left foot. You might like to take the hands behind the thigh and really just start to push up through that heel, pulling the pinky toe in towards the knee, stretching through the back of the leg. Maybe sending the right leg out long. And then taking the left leg, keep the left shoulder down. We'll just send that leg over the body. You might like to send the left leg arm out long for balance. Moving into a twist. And then coming back up to center, sending that left leg long. We'll bring the right leg in this time. And then we'll just send the right leg up. Start to push through the heel of the foot. Really pull that pinky toe in. Sending the hands behind the thigh. Again, you can have the left leg with the sole of the foot on the floor. You can send that leg out long if you like. So start to stretch through the back of the leg. And then moving into our twist, we can send the right arm out long. Just start to ground through that arm, ground through that shoulder, and then guiding the right leg across the left side of the body, moving into our twist. And then just slowly making our way back up to center. Bringing both soles of the feet to the floor. We'll take the left ankle and cross it over the right ankle. Start to open up through the left thigh. You can stay here if you like, or you can lift the right leg off the floor. Maybe interlacing the fingers behind the back of the thigh. Or maybe even over the front of the shin. Just stretching into that piriformis muscle. And again, you can stay here, or you might like to just gently rock back and forth, side to side, rather just really get into that piriformis muscle in the outer hip. And then release the legs down. We'll take it to the opposite sides, this time crossing the right ankle across the left knee. Open up through that right thigh, staying here, or maybe lifting that left foot off the floor, maybe interlacing the hands around the back of the thigh or over the shin. And again, you might like to stay here, or you can gently just start to rock side to side. Start to open up the muscles in the outer hip. And then releasing the legs back onto the floor, keeping the soles of the feet on the floor. We're going to start to just work a little bit on the core, waking up the core muscles. So interlace the fingers behind the back of the head, keep the elbows out nice and wide. And push the lower back into the floor as we inhale to rise up. And then exhale, release. We'll do this for 9 inhale. Exhale, 8 inhale, exhale. Make sure you keep the lower back on the floor as you inhale up. Exhale for 6, 5, keeping them nice and slow. 4, 3, 2, 1, and release the head back down. Bring the arms down by the body this time. We'll lift the legs up, so we want the knees stacked over the hips. Again, trying to keep that lower back really pushing into the floor. And we'll have the knees a bit of an L, upside down L shape. Keeping the arms on the floor, palms facing down, and we'll just take the heel of the left foot and just tap it on the floor, and then reach it back up. And then we'll do the same with the right leg, we're lifting it back up. So this is really engaging the transverse muscles in the body. So again, left leg tap, back up, right. And we'll do that a few more times, so left, right, left, right. 2 more sets. Left, right, last set. Left, right. Perfect. And then you can release both soles of the feet down, and maybe just let the knees drop over towards the right, and then the left. Just releasing, just window wipering the legs, releasing any tension in the lower back. Great. It's a really good way to engage the transverse muscles. It's a big core muscle, the deep tissue, the deep muscle that wraps around the whole core, the whole spine. So a really good way to wake that up. And then come back to center, and we'll just bring the knees in towards the chest. And then we can start to just rock up and down a few times. Eventually coming up to a seated position. And from here, we'll inhale to reach the arms up. And then exhale, bring the left hand down towards the right floor. Bring the right arm over for a side stretch. Inhale, bring both arms up. Then exhale, take over to the opposite side for that side stretch. Keeping the sitting bones grounded down. And inhale to come back up, releasing the arms down. From here we'll take a twist, so we'll bring the left hand to the right knee, the right hand can come behind us. Inhale to lengthen, and then exhale, send the gaze over the right shoulder. Inhale, release, come back to center, we'll take on the opposite side, this time right hand to left knee, left hand can come behind us. Inhale to lengthen through the spine. And then exhale, send the gaze over the opposite shoulder. And exhale, coming back to center. From here we'll move into an all fours position. So just planting the hands, rolling forward, stacking the shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. And we'll take a few cat-cows. So from here, dropping the belly down on the inhale, pull the shoulder blades together, lifting the gaze. And then on the exhale, round through the spine, chin towards the chest, pull the navel in. Inhale to come back up. Exhale, chin to chest, navel in, round through that spine. Inhale, arch through the spine, lifting the head up, pull the shoulder blades together. Exhale, chin to chest. Last time, inhale to come back up. Exhale, round through the spine, chin to chest. And then on the inhale, just make your way back to a neutral spine. So from here, we'll start to move into our flows. So you can either stay with the knees on the floor if you like, and you also have the option, if you tend to get sore wrists, then you can fold over the mat just for some extra padding for the wrists as well. Or if you've got a blanket nearby, then I guess you can also use the blanket just for that extra padding. So either staying on the knees, or you can send the feet out long, coming onto the ball of the feet. So we're moving into a high plank position. And we're just going to hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the knees down. Just come forward, and we'll just kind of roll the wrists out in one direction and the opposite direction. Taking any movements that feel good. Right, and we'll come forward and we'll do that again. So start to push through the hands, send the feet back, push through the heels of the feet, round through the back. And this time we'll step the feet out so they're mat distance apart, and then walk the feet back in. And again, stepping the feet out and in. 3 more times, out and in. Out and in. Last time, step the feet out and in, and then dropping the knees down. Start to bend through the elbows, bringing the weight forward, bring the chin and chest down towards the floor. Keep the hips nice and high, and then just flattening out onto the floor. Bring the hands so they're in line with your shoulders, keeping the pinky toes pushing down, and on the inhale, we'll just roll up for a baby cobra, and exhale, release. We'll take that 2 more times. So inhale, roll up, baby cobra, push the pinky toes into the floor, feel the leg muscles engage. And this time, just see if you can lift the hands off the floor, pull those shoulder blades together, hold it here. And on the next exhale, release it back down. Last time, inhale, coming up for a baby cobra. Again, lift those hands off the floor, really start to pull the shoulder blades together. Holding it here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release it back down. From here, tuck the toes, push into the hands, come up to an all fours position. And we'll move into a downwards dog, but before we get there, I just want to make sure you're really pushing into the whole hand, really start to push or grip into the mat, kicking your hips, stacked over the knees, tucking the back toes, pull the navel in, just lift the knees off the ground for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Maybe coming back. Release the wrists if you like. Great. And then move back into that all fours position. Start to grip into the floor again. Tuck the toes. Lift the knees for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And this time I want you to lift the hips up and back and move into your downwards dog. You might need to step the feet back, maybe widen the stance. Check that you're continuing to really push into the whole hand, broaden through the shoulders. You can bend the knees a little or a lot,
The back nice and straight, pushing up through the hips. Because it's the first downwards dog of the day, you can take any movements you might like. So maybe bending and straightening one leg at a time, really start to get some movement in the hips. You can look under one armpit and then the opposite armpit. Maybe shaking out the head, yes or no. And then when you're ready, just come to a static dog. Take some deep breaths here. And on the next inhale, we'll lift the left leg up for three-legged dog. And exhale, bring the knee in towards now. Bring the weight forward over your hands. Hold it here, really round through the upper back. And then step that foot forward in between the hands at the front of the mat. You might need to use your left hand to help your foot just get there. And then drop the back knee down, untuck the toes. We'll just really move into this low lunge, get a stretch in the hips. Maybe taking a few little movements, maybe moving side to side. You can walk the hands over towards the right, maybe over towards the left a little bit. Checking out your knees stacked over the ankles, you might need to adjust that a little bit. And we want to try and keep the hips in line as well, so pulling back with that front foot and pulling that right hip forward. Hold it here for 2 more breaths. Then start to straighten that front leg, bringing the hips back, maybe walking the hands back a little bit, and we'll pull the toes in towards the face. Stretching through the back of the leg. And walk the hands forward, plant that front foot, tuck the back toes, help with the balance if you like, and on the inhale we'll reach the arms up for a low lunge. From here, take the hands behind us, interlacing the fingers. If you can't interlace the hands behind the back, then you can always take opposite hands, maybe opposite elbows, whatever feels good for you. And whichever option you take, we'll just start to pull the hands down, open up through the chest, maybe send the gaze up. Exhale, release the hands. And on the inhale, we'll reach the arms up again, this time bringing the palms of the hands together and drawing the palms down in front of the chest into prayer position. Exhale, start to rotate the body towards the left side of the room and see if you can plant or place the outside of the elbow on the outside of the left knee. Deepen the hands in prayer, push into the hands to deepen into the twist. And hold it here. Inhale, slowly untwisting, bring the arms up overhead. And then exhale to plant the hands back down and step that left foot back. You can either stay in your low plank here with the knees down, or we're going to lift the knees up, come back into our plank position. Hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the knees back down. Maybe bring the hips back. You can release the hands if you like. And then coming forward back into our plank positions, and then the feet out, come onto the balls of the feet, push through the heels. And again, we'll step the feet out to the mat distance apart, and then step them in and out, in and out, step them in and out. 2 more times, in and out. Last time, in in, out, and then just bring them back to the hip distance apart. Drop the knees down, bend in at the elbows, bring the weight forward, chin and chest down towards the mat. Strength through the legs. Bring the hands in line with the shoulders, and inhale up for baby cobra. Exhale, release. This time interlace the hands behind the back, or if you like you can take baby cobra again to see what's good for you. And on the next inhale, really start to pull through the hands and lift the chest up. Exhale, release. And again, inhale, reaching the hands back, interlacing the fingers, pulling back through the chest, opening up through the chest, holding it here. And if you like, lifting the legs off the ground as well, but only if it feels good for your lower back. And then exhale, release it all down. We'll just make a little pillow with the hands, resting the forehead on the hands, and just shake the hips out side to side. Great. So from here, bring the hands in line with the shoulders, push through the arms, come up to our all fours position. And again, we'll push through the fingers, push through the hands, tuck the toes, lift the knees up, and send the hips up and back for downwards dog. Hold it here for 5 breaths. Making those breaths nice, slow and deep. If you do feel like you want a little bit of a break here, if it's too much on the wrists, then you can always come down to a child's pose by just sending the hips back. Arms can be out long, forehead down to the floor, or you can send the arms down by the body. Just resting here. So you can take this pose at any point during the practice if you like. And when you're ready, make your way back to downwards dog if you're not there already. And this time we'll lift the right leg up, keeping the hips nice and level. 3-legged dog. And then we'll bring the knee in towards the nose, round through the back, bring the weight forward, hold it here. And then see if you can plant that foot down in between your hands at the front of the mat. Again, you might need to use your hand to help your foot get there. Drop that back knee down, checking the knees stacked over the ankle. And again, we can just take some little movements here. Maybe rocking side to side, walking the hands out towards the left, maybe towards the right. Just to get these little movements in the morning, help us really get some fluid to the joints, wake up the muscles. And then when you're ready, come back to center. And we'll start to straighten that front leg, bring the toes so they're pointing towards the ceiling, walking the hands back. Trying to keep a nice straight back, stretching through the back of the front leg. And walk the hands forward, plant that front foot. On the inhale, we'll reach the hands up. Keeping the heel of the front foot pulling back and the front hip pulling forward, so you're really pulling those hips in line. And then bring the hands behind us, interlace the hands, but this time see if you can do the opposite thumb on top. It should be the one that feels a little bit weird, might feel a little bit odd. And then just start to pull the hands down, open up through the chest, gaze can be up. Exhale, release the arms, bring them up overhead. And this time draw the hands together in prayer and just draw it down in front of the chest. And on the exhale, start to bring that left elbow
towards the right, so twisting towards the right. And then see if you can pop that elbow on the outside of the opposite knee, pushing into the hands to deepen into the twist. And remember to keep breathing here. And then inhale, releasing the arms, slowly coming back up. And exhale to plant the hands back down. Set that knee back. And from here, we'll come into our plank position. So step the feet back, pushing into the whole hand, checking the shoulders stacked over the wrist. Really round through that upper back. So then we're just going to walk the feet over towards the left side. So about 3 steps towards the left. Hold. And then walk it back to centre. And then we'll walk it over towards the right side for 3 steps. And then hold. And walk it back to centre. And then drop the knees down or bend at the elbows. Bring the chin and chest down towards the floor. Keep the hips nice and high. And then straighten out the legs. And we'll start with our baby cobra. So hands in line with the shoulders, push into the pinky toes. Inhale to come up. If you feel nice and open in the lower back, you don't feel any pain, then you can come up to a cobra position. But only if it feels good for you, otherwise just stick with the low cobra today. And then exhale, release. Might like to just shake the hips out a little bit. And this time we'll bring the hands behind us, interlacing the fingers. Bring the feet together, really start to engage the legs, draw them together so they're nice and strong. And then inhale to pull the hands back, lifting up. And then exhale, release. Bring the arms down by the side, the hands are facing down. And this time we'll lift just the legs up, keeping the upper body down. So inhale, lifting the legs up, keeping them nice and straight, nice and strong. And exhale, release. Make a little pillow with your hands and just shake the hips out. Great. Bring the hands so they're in line with the shoulders, tuck the toes, push up for our all fours position. And then tuck the toes and continue to make your way up for a downwards facing dog. Remember to broaden up through the shoulders, push into the whole hands. You can be on the balls of the feet, keeping a bend in the knees if you like. Or you can be working towards straight legs, just making sure that the back is nice and straight. So we're going to run through that sequence again. So on the inhale, lifting that left leg up, keep the hips nice and straight. And then draw the knee in towards the nose, bring the weight forwards, hold here for 3, 2, 1. You can plant that foot down. This time keeping the back knee lifted, front knee stacked over the ankles. Inhale to reach the arms up. Exhale, cactus the arms, open the chest. And inhale to reach up. We'll do that one more time. Exhale, drawing the shoulder blades together, cactus in the arms. And then inhale, reach the arms up. This time bring the palms together and draw them down in prayer in front of the chest. We're moving into a twist. So on the exhale, start to rotate towards the left. Bring that elbow down. So it's on the outside of the left knee. Start to push through the hands, open up into that twist. Holding it here. Maybe opening the arms up if you like, if you've got the balance this morning. And when you're ready, push
the legs, reaching the arms up. Exhale, planting the hands. Step that left foot back into our high plank position. And again, we'll walk the feet over 3 steps towards the left. Hold it. And back to center. And walk it 3 steps over towards the right. And then come back to center. And then drop the knees down. Bend through the elbows, bring the chin and the chest down towards the floor. Straight through the legs. And on the inhale, we'll come up for a baby cobra. Maybe a cobra if you feel good in the lower back. And then exhale, come back down. Again, bring the hands behind you, interlace the fingers, bring the legs together. Inhale to rise up. Hold it here. And then exhale, release the arms down. Or just move the legs again, so bring the soles or the hands, palms of the hands to the floor. Keep the legs zipped up. And then inhale, lift just the legs off the ground. Hold it for 3, 2, 1, and release it back down. You can just roll the hips out a little bit, maybe making a little pillow for the forehead. And bring the hands in line with the shoulders, tuck the toes, and you can either come to downwards dog through tabletop, or you can push into the hands and make your way all the way up to our downwards dog. Holding it here for 5 breaths. And remember, you always have the option to come down to a child's pose, if you like. And when you're ready, making your way back into our downwards dog. This time we'll lift the right leg up for 3-legged dog. And then bring the knee in towards the nose, bring the weight forward, round through the back, hold it here for 3, 2, 1. And then place that foot in between the hands at the front of the mat. Checking your knees stacked over the ankle. This time push through the legs to reach the arms up. And we'll open up the chest by cactusing the arms. So on the next exhale, draw the shoulders together, cactus the arms. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach up. This time, draw the palms together, bring them down to prayer in front of the chest. And we'll be taking the twist to the right this time, so start to rotate on the exhale and draw that elbow on the outside of the knee. Push into the hands. You start to open up through the chest, working into that twist. Staying here, and maybe just opening the arms up towards the side. And then on the next inhale, push into the legs, push into the arms, come up. Bring the arms up overhead. And then exhale to frame that front foot, step that foot back, making our way into our final plank position. So this time we'll come down onto our forearms. So we'll do that for 10. So start with the left, come onto the forearms, and then come back up. And then with the right, and come back up. Left, up, right, up, left, up. Last time, right, up. And And drop your knees down. We'll take our vinyasa by bringing the weight forward, bending at the elbows, chin and chest, and then straighten out the legs. Bring your hands in line with your shoulders. On the inhale, make your way up for your Cobra. Whichever Cobra is good for you. And then exhale back down. This time we'll take a Sphinx Pose, so bring the hands out in front. You want them about shoulder distance apart, so you can take opposite elbows and then just bring the arms out in front. Open up through the chest, gaze forward. Keeping the feet down, pushing into the toes. And we'll just hold it here for a couple of breaths. Making sure you're drawing the shoulder blades together, creating space in the neck. Just a couple more breaths here. And then rolling back down. And then we'll finish by taking Seal Pose, this time bringing the hands out so they're just off the mat. If this doesn't feel good for you, you can come back to one of the earlier versions, maybe taking a Baby Cobra or Sphinx Pose. And we'll just roll the body up. Maybe looking over the left. And back to centre. Maybe looking over the right. And back to centre. And then just rolling back down. The forehead to the floor. Maybe making a pillow, rolling the hips out. Bring the hands so they're in line with the shoulders, tuck the back toes. Making our way into downwards dog, either via all fours position or straight into your downwards dog. And we'll hold it here for 5 breaths. Again, you have the option to come down to your child's pose if you like. And when you're ready, make your way back into your downwards dog. We'll just take a little twist here. You might need to step the feet in and shorten your downwards dog a little bit. We'll take the right hand and we'll just take it to the outside of the left leg. It might be the ankle, might be the calf, it might just be the thigh. It might just be on the floor today, that's perfectly fine. But just working in this direction, get a bit of a twist, looking under the left shoulder or armpit. And then release. We'll take that on the opposite side this time. Just taking the left hand on the outside of the right leg, wherever feels good to you, and just send the gaze under that armpit, twisting through the spine, building strength in the body, and then release. From here, start to bend through the knees, send the gaze forward. You can step, hop or jump to the front of the mat. And then just make your way into a forward fold, bending through the knees, releasing the head and the neck down. Then inhale, come up for a flat back position. Exhale, release. Push through the feet, bring the arms out nice and wide, and we'll come all the way up to standing. Bring the arms up overhead, bring the hands to touch. And then exhale, release the arms down by the side. Great. So before we finish, we'll just take a little bit of a strength building for the quads. So we'll take a chair pose. So bringing the big toes to touch, have a little gap between the heels at the back of the foot. And we'll just bring the fingertips down towards the mat, bringing the hips out backwards, so it's like you're sitting on an invisible chair, keeping the body nice and low. And then send the arms up in front, keeping the hips nice and low. Gaze can be up if it feels okay for the neck, or you can just keep it neutral as well. And we'll just hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keeping the hips low, we'll bring the hands together in prayer, bring it in front of the chest. We'll take a bit of a twist, so taking that elbow to the outside of the knee, keeping the hips low, pushing into the hands, open up into the twist for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to center again, keeping those hips nice and low. And we'll take on the opposite side, the hands to prayer, twisting this time towards the right. I promise this is the last time. We'll stay down here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back to center, keeping the arms up, push through the legs, come up, descending. Release the arms down, maybe just get some movement in the legs. Great. So from here we'll make our way down onto the mat now. So just sending the legs out long, toes pointing at about 45 degrees, going into a Malasana squat. So just gently moving side to side to get there. Maybe bringing the hands down to support yourself. Opening up the hips with these movements side to side. And then seeing whether you can bring the arms in front of the legs, bring the palms together, opening up. Maybe you're on the toes today. Maybe the hips are a bit higher. Just keeping it back straight. Really good stretch for the groin. Or groin rather. Remember to keep breathing here. And releasing the hands, make your way down to a seated position. Make sure you've got enough room behind you as we'll be making our way onto the mat now. So bringing the hands out so they're facing each other, soles of the feet to the floor, and with control to see if you can roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. Bring the arms up overhead, straightening the legs, full body stretch here, stretching through the fingers, stretching through the toes. And exhale, release. And I'll just bring the left knee in towards the body and place the hands around the front of the shin. Keeping the toes pointing towards the knee. Start to draw that knee in towards the armpit. And from here, take the right hand on the outside of the left knee. Left hand comes out towards the side. And you can just send the leg across the body for a twist. Inhale back to center, sending that left leg out long. And you can bring the right leg in this time and place the hands around the shin. Start to draw that shoulder in, that knee in towards the armpit. Keeping the toes pointing towards the knee. Just letting the breath slow down. We take these last few poses together. And then taking the right leg out long, or right arm out long rather, and the left hand to the outside of the leg, and then just start to draw that knee across the body for our twist. And then coming back to center, releasing the legs out. You might like to just shake the legs side to side, and just shake the legs out a little bit. And then we'll just end with a bridge pose. So bringing the soles of the feet to the floor. Feet hip distance apart, arms down by the side, or you can have the hands up and facing each other. That just engages the muscles in the core a little bit more. And then start to tilt the pelvis up and roll the hips all the way up, pushing through the feet and the glutes, and hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Releasing down, one vertebra at a time. Maybe coming onto the toes as you roll the pelvis back down. You just let the legs just windshield wiper side to side. And from here, we'll take our final pose, which is a happy baby pose. If you don't like happy baby, you can just bring the knees in towards the chest and maybe just rock side to side. Otherwise, if you want to take happy baby, you will take the hands to the inside of the legs and then take the outside of the feet. And we're aiming for the ankles stacked over the knees. If you're not quite there, it's the direction you're moving into. And we're trying to keep the pelvis just lengthening down onto the floor. You can rock side to side here, that can feel quite nice as well. Maybe straighten on one leg at a time, can also be quite nice. And then just releasing the legs when you're ready. Move into Shavasana now. So either sending the legs so they're mat distance apart, letting the knees fall in towards each other. Or if it feels okay for your lower back, you could send the legs out nice and long. Have the palms facing out or facing up. Arms out towards the side. Maybe soften the gaze or close the eyes. And just bringing your attention back to your breath. Not trying to change the breath at all, just noticing how it enters and how it leaves the body. Maybe reflecting on how you feel now that you've finished this practice and how that compares to when you started the practice today. And we'll just start to make some small movements with the hands, with the feet. Maybe move the head side to side, massaging the back of the head. And then slowly in your own time, you can start to make your way up to a seated position, maybe rolling to one side to get there. Keeping the eyes closed if you like. And slowly just blinking the eyes open. And that brings us to the end of that morning